my thoughts just started going pew pew pew, thinking it was a shoulder issue, elbow injury, whatever. My thoughts started racing all the way to the negative zone. Literally, just like the Flash, boom, to the negative zone. But then it came back that he was on the IL for COVID. So was able to take a deep breath. But during the game, Michael Kay and David Cone reported that it wasn't COVID. He just was sick, and the Yankees decided to put him on the COVID IL. So he doesn't have COVID, had a little sickness from last night. Hopefully, it's just a change of the weather, one day being hot, one day being cold, and he'll be good to make his next start. A little bit of good news. Clark Smith, he got the call. And Clark Smith and both Ryan Weber answered the call out of the bullpen. Now, Ryan Weber, former major league pitcher, was out of baseball for a while. But being out of baseball for a while, he was still able to catch on through the independent circuit, work his way. He was pitching with the Yankees in spring training. Yankees like what they saw. He's not over dominating, but his sinker has some movement. And he showed that today. Clark Smith, he went 3 innings. And Ryan Weber went 3 innings as well, holding it down for the Yankees bullpen so it's not overly taxed with no Luis Severino. Now this right here is more of a kudos and a nod to the organization as a whole. Being able to have a guy like Clark Smith, who's been in the Yankees minor league system for some years now, developing him, he been used sporadically out of the bullpen, sometimes coming on late on in the games, extra innings with a runner on. Some Yankee fans think that a little bit too precious, just too much for him. But he answered the call today. His fastball, getting up there, 93, 94. There was a few of them touching 95. But his knuckle curve is what had the Tampa Bay hitters having a fit. Because that drop and then with his knuckle curve, apparently, now this is according to David Cone. I got to look into this stat to see if it's real. But according to David Cone and to Michael Kay, as they're reporting it during the game, his knuckle curve has the biggest break in all of Major League Baseball when it comes to that pitch. So seeing him for 3 innings, holding down those Ray hitters. Now, granted, like I've said before, the Tampa Bay Rays are missing a few key pieces. You got no Wander Franco, so that's a bullet that we dodged. But like I said, to start this series, if the shoe was on the opposite foot and the Yankees was missing some pieces here and there and wasn't complete, the Tampa Bay Rays will do everything they can to take advantage of that. And tonight, even though the Yankees had an error, the Tampa Bay Rays was a bit sloppy as well. And it showed during this series. Apparently, the Tampa Bay Rays is just second to the Chicago White Sox when it comes to errors. This is not the same Tampa Bay Rays team as it was in year past. Now, the first series we went against Tampa, the first 2 series, even though we won them, split one of them, won the other one, I was a bit nervous. But now I could just take a deep breath, and relax. Because like I said at the beginning of the show, 47 wins, 16 losses, a 12-game lead on the Tampa Bay Rays. Phenomenal. As a Yankee fan, I could just be happy right now. I could relax. I could take a deep breath like I just did. But now coming up, we got the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees will be, hopefully the rain doesn't mess up their flight. Hopefully it doesn't mess up my flight either. But the Yankees should be flying out tonight to Toronto. They start a series in Toronto. Then they fly back to Tampa. And they'll be playing a series in Tampa. I'll be down there. I can't guarantee if I could make a game. I'm going to try to. I can't guarantee. But I know for a fact, I already booked the VIP suite tickets, to the Yankees minor league game, the Tampa Tarpons. All you can eat buffet, all you can eat chicken tendies I'll be having. $40 chicken tendies, all you can eat. But yeah, so maybe I'll be able to tap into one of those games over there. Maybe I'll call my guy BX Jedi and we do a little collabo and we go to the game. But the highlight of the game, or I should say the player of the game, or one of the players of the game, because I'll give it to both Clark Smith and Ryan Weber. And I'll give it to this man as well. Antonio Rizzo, my man. You feel me? El Calzone. Antonio Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo came through big tonight. You know, he got off to a hot start to start the season. The first month of the season, he batted .280, cranked 10 home runs. But it was the second month in May that he went to a little down spell. He batted .160. That batting average fell down. He only hit 1 home run for the month. But as soon as the month turned to June, Anthony Rizzo has turned it on. He tied the game up earlier, a few innings right before the ninth. But early in the game, he tied it up for the Yankees. And he barely came close to hitting another 2-run home run before this at bat. He missed a 2-run home run earlier in the game as well. So Anthony Rizzo was spot on tonight. He was 2 for 3 with this game-winning home run. Anthony Rizzo, Lemoncello Anthony Rizzo, put that thing on ice. Cranked this beautiful walk-off home run. Let's watch it again. Look at this. And then you can just hear the music already starting. Susan Wallman running out to the field. Ah! But a good game overall. And this is a fun season, man. This is an exciting season so far. I am not going to lie. You know, the Yankees have had, I think they showed it 8, 9, 10 walk-off victories so far. They was pointing it back to, you know, this is the most walk-offs we've had in a season since 2009 when we was walking off almost every other night on the way to the championship that year. And this team is special. Knock on wood. Hopefully this team can stay healthy. And the same thing that happened in 2009 happens in 2022. It's been a little bit of a dry spell for the Yankees. Not winning a World Series or making it to the World Series since 2009, you know. But take a second right here to pause. Everybody who's watching, if you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. If this is your first time here, if you guys don't know about the different platforms where you could catch us on, you can catch me on Instagram at Project Nerd HQ. KOD, you can catch Knights of Dejan on Instagram as well. Just like on Twitter, KOD Media on Twitter, Knights of Dejan on Twitter. And you can take a quick little show lineup look, and we'll be right back after this break. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a beautiful little graphic right there. It's nice. I'm not going to even lie. Over here bopping my head. I forgot that we was doing a show for a second. But let's take a deep dive into them stats. Let's look into it. Let's start off with the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays, they started tonight with one of the bullpen guys coming out as just a 1-inning starter, 1 to 2 inning starter. Let me see right here. Bingo. You got Beeks who started the game, but let's look at this lineup. Bruhan, if you noticed the past couple of games, he was batting at the bottom of the lineup, but his speed actually plays. Didn't play that well tonight, or I should say last night. But Bruhan, the second baseman, led off the game. He was 0 for 4. Manuel Margot, for the past couple of games, was batting in the 3-hole, but they got him in the 2-hole. And as the DH, he was 0 for 4 on the night. G-Man Choi, the first baseman, was 0 for 2. Yandy Diaz, who is normally the leadoff hitter, but he was playing third base in the cleanup spot. He was 1 for 4 in the game. Randy Arozarena, the exciting Cuban player, close friends with Nestor Cortez, if you guys saw last night. And for some reason, Michael K was making a big deal about it, but I have no issue with Randy Arozarena and Nestor Cortez talking last night. You know, it was a 16-minute break. So why not? But Randy Arozarena, the exciting Cuban sensation, was 0 for 3. And left field, Brett Phillips, the center fielder, he was 0 for 3 as well. Harold Ramirez, batting further down on the lineup tonight, he was in right field. He was 1 for 3 on the night. The left-handed catcher, Mejia, was 1 for 3, had that one home run off of your guy Weber. So the only mistake off of Weber, Weber had was just that, that sinker that just stood a little bit in the plate. Tyler Walls, the shortstop, was 0 for 3 as well. Now over to the pitching side. Beeks, as I said before, reliever, but he was starting for today. He pitched 2 innings. No hits, no runs, no walks, and he had a strikeout. Whistler came in after him. He pitched 2 innings. No hits, no runs. He had a walk and a strikeout as well. Raley came in after Whistler. He pitched the inning in 2/3. He gave up a hit, no runs, 2 walks, and no strikeouts. Tampa Bay is known for mixing and matching their bullpen, especially when they have, when they don't have a quote-unquote starter. They use one guy to start the game, But Tampa Bay is what made this type of philosophy very popular. They're the ones who coined it to, in these past 20 years. Last thing I can remember, Tampa Bay Rays were the first one to do this. Now you see teams trying to implement it here or there. But just like everything, the Tampa Bay Rays start something, and after a while, Major League Baseball changed the rules. Tampa Bay used to love to abuse the call-ups in September, changing pitchers every other at bat or every batter. So Major League was like, you know what, this is getting out of hand. Normally a game that should take 2.5 hours is taking 4 hours because of these pitching changes. But that's out the way. But Thompson came in, and Thompson struggled. And this is when Anthony Rizzo tied up the game. But Thompson came in. He got no outs. He didn't record a single out. He gave up a hit, an earned run. He walked 2 guys. And like I said, he gave up that hit to Anthony Rizzo, walking DJ LeMahieu and Aaron Judge right in front of him. And he struggled. Thompson was struggling. But because of that rule, you got to pitch to those 3 batters. They couldn't take him out. But as soon as Anthony Rizzo got that hit, they took him out. And then Adams came in after him. Or Adam, I should say. Adam came in, was able to get Giancarlo Stanton out. And then he pitched another inning. He pitched the inning in the 3rd, gave up a hit. No runs, no walks, and a strikeout. Poche came on afterwards, and he pitched the inning. No hits, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout. And then Armstrong pitched that bottom of the 9th, and he gave up that walk-off home run to Anthony Rizzo. He pitched the 3rd of an inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, and the game was over. A walk-off home run, Anthony Rizzo. And it was a solid win. Yankees, 47 wins. Best record in baseball. Over 30 games over 32 games over 500. This is solid. You're getting contributions from every which way. Aaron Judge was hot to carry us, but now you see other guys contributing. Anthony Rizzo had tonight. Our starting rotation has been solid, but as soon as somebody had to miss a start, the next man up, mentality. And that's what happened with Clark Smith and Ryan Weber. They answered the call. They were able to hold it down for 6 innings so that bullpen wouldn't be taxed. You know, we are in the middle of a 20 games in a row streak. So whenever we could give our bullpen rest and whenever we're not taxing our bullpen, we got to be able to take advantage of that. And Ryan Weber and both Clark Smith, they came through in a big way. But now let's look to the Yankees lineup. And this Yankee lineup. Bingo, bingo, boom, 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 boom. And now to this Yankee lineup, DJ LeMahieu, the second baseman, he let it off. He was 0 for 3. Aaron Judge, so far this season, for this past month, Aaron Judge has been at a steady 310 to 315 clip. He was 0 for 2 tonight, but so far this season, he's batting 310 to 315. Anthony Rizzo was 2 for 4, had that RBI single to score DJ LeMahieu and that walk-off home run. Giancarlo Stanton, the DH, he was 0 for 3. He was robbed of a single up the middle earlier in the game by BREW, the second baseman. It was a laser. I think they said it came out 118 miles per hour. But Giancarlo Stanton, oh God, I do not want to be an infielder on the opposite side of a Giancarlo Stanton line out. No way, Jose. At 118 miles per hour, I'm good. That's why when I'm playing softball, I'm in the outfield, not the infield. But the third baseman, Josh Donaldson, he was 1 for 3. Aaron Hicks, who had the hat trick last night or the game before, he was in left field. He was 1 for 3 on the night. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was 0 for 3. Jose Trevino was 0 for 3. Barely had 2 home runs, but they were both foul. But Jose Trevino was in a little bit of a slump. I think he's gotten a little bit home run happy. Jose, know who you are as a hitter and focus on up the middle and right field. Don't try to lean out there and cheat and get that home run, Jose. Jose Trevino, our amigo. Now, Joey Gallo, the right fielder, who is battling for his baseball life, him and Aaron Hicks. The 2 garbage pail kids, Joey Gallo was 0 for 2 on the night. Now, over to the pitching side of things, Clark Smith, he pitched 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and he had 5 strikeouts. So out of the 9 to 10, out of the 11 batters he faced, out of the 9 outs that he got, 5 of them via the strikeout. Ryan Weber came in after him, pitched 3 2/3, gave up 2 hits, that 1 mistake home run, no walks, and he had a strikeout. Then our guy Ron Marinaccio, he came in and he was dominant. He pitched the inning in the 3rd, gave up no hits, no runs, no walks, and he had a strikeout. Michael King came after. Michael King, the bounce back. Michael King pitched the inning, gave up no hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Michael King was a winning pitcher on record, and so far on the season, he is 4-1. He went through a little dry spell where he got knocked around. ERA got a little bit bloated, but Michael King has figured it out. And this team is just rolling, man. This team is just rolling. We got a series with Toronto coming up. Toronto, they lost one of their pitchers. So Toronto is not 100%. But we got a test coming up. Let's see how we are and how we stand against these Blue Jays now. Now I'm going to just take a look on the standings real quick. Like I said before, the Yankees sit comfortably with a 12-game lead on the Tampa Bay Rays. As it is right now, I think Toronto lost. Hold on, let me just make sure. I think Toronto lost, which would mean that the Yankees. Hold on. Yeah, Toronto lost to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays. I mean, Toronto lost. Toronto is the Blue Jays. Toronto lost to the Orioles. The Toronto Blue Jays lost to the Baltimore Orioles. Now, the Baltimore Orioles, they aren't a slouch. They're a lot better than they've been last year and the year before. They're not just a stepping stone in the AL East no more. They're trying to be tough. They're trying to play spoiler. And they did against Baltimore. Now, the Yankees have a 10-game lead on Toronto and a 12-game lead on Tampa. And now what's crazy, a stat that was brought out, what's crazy is that Boston has been one of the hottest teams in baseball, going 17-7 or 17-8 over this last stretch. But they were only able to make half of a game on the Yankees. They're 13.5 games back on the Yankees. Because during that stretch, the Yankees were 18-8. How about that? How about that? This is phenomenal. Now, I know it's early in the season. 63 games down. Hold on, 47, 16. Yeah, 63 games down, 99 games left to go. What happens? Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But at home, so far, the Yankees are 29-7 at Yankee Stadium. And on the road, the Yankees are 18-9. They've only lost 2 games on the road. 2 games more on the road than they have at home. This team is special. Now, let me just take a look real quick. Because the rest of this month, let's see. We got a 3-game series coming up against Toronto. Then we got another 3-game series against Tampa. Then we have a 4-game series against the Houston Astros. And then this is when it gets a little bit fun because we have the Oakland A's for another 3-game series. Then the month of July starts. And in the month of July, at the end of June, I think the Yankees have a 1-game makeup with the Houston Astros. Yeah, a 1-game makeup. I believe it was a rainout game. I'm not too sure. But in July, we got 3 games against the Cleveland Guardians, 2 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates, 4 games against the Boston Red Sox, 3 games against the Cincinnati Reds, another 3 games against the Red Sox, 2 games against the Astros, 3 games against the Orioles, 2 against the Mets, and 4 against the Kansas City Royals. Now, as of now, in this stretch, let's see. The Yankees are facing 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that are over 500. And out of those 4 teams, only 2 of them are division leaders. Right? We got the Kansas City Royals, who as of now are 21-41. The Pittsburgh Pirates, as of now, are 25-37. The Cincinnati Reds are 23-40. So you could assume those games are wins. Then we have the Cleveland Guardians. And the Cleveland Guardians aren't a slouch. Jose Ramirez is having an MVP season over there for Cleveland and for the Guardians. So this is no knock at the Cleveland Guardians because they aren't a slouch. But the Cleveland Guardians are 32-27. The Boston Red Sox are 34-30. And the New York Mets are 42-23. The Houston Astros are 39-24. So you have the Mets, who are the second best team in baseball. The Astros, who are probably the third best team in baseball. Let me just double check because I think the Dodgers may have a better record. No, the Padres actually have a better record. The Padres are first in their division at 41-24. The LA Dodgers and the Houston Astros have the same record, 39-23, right? No, almost the same. Houston has 24 losses. The Dodgers have 23 losses. So this playoff race is going to be very It's going to be very interesting because now, with the Cleveland Guardians winning and the Boston Red Sox losing, the wild card race has changed just a little bit. Toronto is first place, 37-26. Tampa Bay second, 35-28. But now Cleveland has leapfrogged the Boston Red Sox. The Cleveland Guardians are 32-27. They have a half a game lead on the Boston Red Sox for the third place wild card team. You got Boston right underneath them, knocking on the door, 34-30. Then you look at this. The next three teams, you have the Chicago White Sox, who are 30-31, the Texas Rangers, who are just 30-33, and the LA Angels are 29-35. In a month, this three team or 6-team race could change dramatically if Boston figures it out. If the Chicago White Sox, who everybody have pegged as the favorite in their division, if the White Sox are able to figure it out, if Eloy Jimenez is able to come back, you got the Texas Rangers. Listen, this could get very interesting come July. A month from now, a week before the trade deadline, this is going to be very interesting. And when you look at the National League is the same thing. I think the National League is a closer race and a more competitive race. You got the Dodgers, who are 39-23. The Braves are climbing up the ladder. They're catching fire. They're 37-27. The San Francisco Giants are 35-27. Now, those three teams right now, if they were in the American League, they'll be 1, 2, and 3 when it comes to the wild card. The Milwaukee Brewers are right there also. Milwaukee, they got leapfrogged by the St. Louis Cardinals, but the Milwaukee Brewers, they're 35-30. They're right there. The Philadelphia Phillies, after firing Joe Girardi, they turned their season around. They're over 500. They're 33-31. They're right there as well. Now, this is where it takes a little bit of a drop off because Arizona is 5 games under 500 at 30-35. I think that's where we could draw the line when it comes to competition for this wild card. So come July, that extra wild card team, giving teams an extra hope, knowing that they're not completely out of it. Because if it was a 2-team wild card team, right, race, you'll have Toronto and Tampa. Cleveland and Boston will be trading them. The Texas Rangers and the Anaheim Angels at this point be like, we're out of it. We're not going to be competitive for the rest of the year. But added in that third wild card team, it gives them a chance, especially if Cleveland only has 32 wins and Texas has 30 and the Angels have 29. It makes it it brings back competition. It makes fans want to watch. Having teams just tank for the season just to tank for a high draft pick is bad for the sport. This makes it a lot more entertaining, you know? But who am I to tell? I'm just a fan. I'm just a guy on YouTube who loves this sport of baseball, you know? As of now, because like I said, this is a pre-recorded video the night before it comes out. So I don't know what's going on when it comes to the NBA Finals, but I'm hoping that the Golden State Warriors win because as a New York City sports fan, right? As a New York City fan, as a Knicks fan, as a Yankee fan, as a Giant fan, I can never in my life root for a Boston team. No matter if it's the Celtics, no matter if it's the Patriots, you never catch me rooting for the Red Sox. So hopefully the Golden State Warriors pull it out because I want to see Draymond Green in his podcast because this is the new media. This is the era of the new media, as Draymond Green said. But around the league, so far, the Angels and Mariners are playing. They're tied 0-0. The Athletics beat the Red Sox 4-3. The Orioles beat the Blue Jays 10-2. Cleveland, they beat the Rockies 4-2. And the Phillies, they beat up on the Nationals 10-1. Now the Mets beat up on the Brewers Not necessarily beat up, but the Mets won 5-4. And the Texas Rangers won. So the Braves had a night off, and the Braves are creeping up in that NL East. They are creeping up. At one point, the Mets had the best division lead, or the greatest, difference in division lead from first to second place. It was like 10 game or 11 game lead. Within a span of 3 weeks, that has shrunk. Like my man Ant-Man shrunk. Like that's how much it shrunk, just like Ant-Man. It has shrunk from 11 to 4.5 games. Let's see what happens in a week. Let's see what happens when we come back when we come back with a brand new Yankees Morning Brew in a week or so. Will Atlanta be in first place? Can the Mets hold them off? Let's see. You never know. But guys, I'm about to cut it off right now. I know it's a little bit too short, and I know I probably didn't get to anybody in the chat, but if you've been watching this, if you're in the chat, I appreciate you. My man Jigga Man should be in the chat answering you back. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like I said, thank you so much for jumping on this ride, supporting this movement, this KOD movement, this Yankee Morning Brew movement. I played a lineup video one more time before we get out of here. But guys, appreciate all the love and support. Like I said, Instagram Project Nerd HQ. You can find me on Twitter, Project Nerd HQ, as well. Yankees Morning Brew on Twitter, KOD Media on Twitter, Knights of Deejit on IG, the Fight Night Crew. They're on Twitter as well. They should be having a spot this weekend or hosting something on Twitter this weekend. But tap in. Tune into all of our shows. I love you guys, and peace.